They say history is written not on paper, but in the stars. For thousands of years, humanity has lifted its eyes to the heavens, wondering what messages the cosmos may be sending. Ancient civilizations believed that comets were not just balls of ice and dust, but omens, warnings, even heralds of great change. They recorded them in stone, passed them down in scripture, and feared their arrival as signs that eras were ending. Today, in the age of science, we tend to dismiss these cosmic visitors as mere astronomical phenomena. Yet a new discovery is forcing even the most rational minds to stop, look up, and ask the same question our ancestors asked. What does this mean? In the vastness of interstellar space, a traveler has been spotted. Astronomers have identified an object that is not bound to our solar system. It comes from the unknown, from the icy darkness beyond the stars we know. They have given it a name, Comet 3I Atlas. But this is no ordinary comet. Its speed, its trajectory, its brightness, it all defies easy explanation. Some scientists call it a once-in-a-civilization event. Others whisper that it is a messenger, a sky sign that marks the end of an era. And when physicist Michio Kaku, one of the world's most respected scientific voices, issued a warning about what this could mean for the future of humanity, millions began to pay attention. Suddenly, the sky didn't just look beautiful, it looked dangerous, it looked prophetic. Pause for a moment. Think about this. Humanity has always tied its fate to the heavens. The fall of empires, the rise of religions, the birth of new ages. So often, these moments coincided with a celestial phenomenon. A blood moon, an eclipse, a blazing comet. We look back and tell ourselves it was coincidence. But what if it wasn't? What if there is a deeper pattern, a cosmic rhythm that beats above our heads, guiding the destiny of civilizations? And what if Comet 3I Atlas is part of that rhythm? A drumbeat signaling that something vast and irreversible is about to unfold. The comet was first detected by the Atlas survey, a system designed to spot potential impactors that could threaten Earth. The name itself, Atlas, is no accident. It recalls the Titan from Greek mythology, the one condemned to hold up the sky for eternity. A name that whispers of burden, of weight, of responsibility. And now, Atlas has revealed a new burden to humanity, the burden of knowing that something immense is approaching from the interstellar void. Something carrying with it questions that science alone may not be able to answer. What makes this comet extraordinary is not just that it is interstellar, it's the third such object ever detected after Oumuamua and 2I Borisov. But unlike them, 3I Atlas seems almost theatrical in its display. Its coma, the glowing halo of gas and dust, expanded with unusual brightness, larger than Earth itself. Its tail stretched millions of kilometers, pointing like a cosmic spear toward the heart of our solar system. To astronomers, this is a spectacle. To prophets and mystics, it is a sign that echoes ancient warnings. When the sky burns, the Earth will change. Michio Kaku, known for blending scientific rigor with visionary foresight, did not dismiss the comet as trivial. Instead, he made a statement that rattled many who heard it. We are entering an age where cosmic events will determine the survival of our species. Coming from a man who usually speaks of physics, parallel universes, and the wonders of technology, this was a sobering change of tone. He spoke of the fragility of civilization, of how a single celestial visitor could rewrite history, not necessarily by colliding with Earth, but by altering climate, shifting orbits, disturbing the gravitational balance, or awakening forces we scarcely understand. It is here that science and prophecy begin to blur. For while astrophysicists calculate orbital mechanics, others look to the scriptures. The book of Revelation speaks of a star called wormwood, falling from heaven and poisoning the waters. Nostradamus wrote cryptically of fire from the sky. Indigenous traditions warned that when the sky is torn open by a serpent of light, humanity will be tested. Is it coincidence that across cultures, across millennia, the appearance of a comet is linked with upheaval, disaster, or transformation? Or are these fragments of an ancient memory, a memory that comets have in the past brought catastrophe? Let us not forget, it was a celestial impact that ended the age of the dinosaurs. a sky sign that truly ended an era. Without that impact, there would be no humans. The Earth remembers. The craters are still here, and the possibility that another era-ending visitor is on its way cannot be shrugged off. We may be the most technologically advanced civilization in history, but when a messenger comes from the stars, we are still just children looking up, powerless to stop the inevitable. Consider the timing. In an age already marked by climate instability, pandemics, geopolitical tension, and technological upheaval, humanity is fragile. We are living, many believe, at the tipping point of history. Now imagine a comet that shines brighter than anything in the sky, reminding billions of people every night that they are small, fragile, and mortal. Even if it never touches Earth, its psychological impact could be seismic. Faiths will interpret it. Governments will spin it. The public will fear it. And in that fear, history will bend. Michio Kaku's warning wasn't just about physical impact. He spoke of a cosmic vulnerability, a reminder that Earth is not isolated. We are part of a galactic ecosystem exposed to forces far beyond our control. He urged governments to take planetary defense seriously, to invest in detection and deflection. Yet beneath the scientific language was a deeper message. The age of human arrogance may be over. The age of humility before the cosmos may be beginning. Think of what this means. An interstellar comet is not just a wandering rock. It carries with it the dust of other star systems, the chemistry of alien suns, the whispers of galaxies far away. Every atom in its icy body has traveled across unfathomable distances to reach us. It is a messenger from the unknown, and when such a messenger appears at the exact moment humanity is questioning its future, should we really dismiss it as coincidence? Or is this synchronicity, cosmic timing that forces us to confront truths we have long ignored? Throughout history, comets have coincided with turning points. The Bayeux Tapestry records Halley's Comet appearing in 1066, the year of the Norman conquest. The Great Comet of 1811 blazed before the Napoleonic Wars. Mark Twain, born during Halley's Comet in 1835, predicted he would die when it returned, and he did in 1910. Is this superstition, or is there a hidden link between human destiny and celestial cycles? Perhaps comets don't cause events, but they synchronize with them, like a clock striking midnight just as the world changes. Now ask yourself, what if Comet 3I Atlas is the clock striking midnight for us? What if its blazing path across our sky is the signal that the era we know is closing, and a new one, whether of collapse or rebirth, is beginning? These are not idle questions. They go to the heart of what it means to be human in a universe that does not care about our survival. And yet, in our myths, our prophecies, and now our science, we find the same recurring theme. Look to the skies, for there lies your destiny. But destiny is not only doom. Some believe that comets are not harbingers of destruction, but of awakening. That they bring change, yes, but change that pushes humanity forward. After all, many scientists argue that it was comets that seeded the early Earth with water and organic molecules, the ingredients for life itself. If so, then comets are both destroyers and creators, endings and beginnings. What if 3I Atlas is here not to end humanity, but to push it into its next chapter? What if it is the sky sign that forces us to unite, to overcome our divisions, to see ourselves as one fragile species under one vast sky? Michio Kaku has long spoken of humanity's evolution into a Type 1 civilization, a planetary species capable of harnessing its resources without destroying itself. Perhaps this comet is the test, a test of whether we will panic, fight, and collapse, or rise, unite, and transform. Perhaps the end of an era is not the end of humanity, but the end of the old ways, greed, division, arrogance, and the beginning of something new. Still, the unease remains. Because whether you see it as a destroyer or a teacher, Comet 3I Atlas is real, it is here, and it cannot be ignored. Its trajectory brings it near Earth, close enough to be a spectacle in the night sky. Already, telescopes capture its eerie glow. Already, people are whispering. Already, a sense of something impending is spreading. The same feeling our ancestors must have felt when they looked up and saw a fiery sword hanging over their villages. The feeling that history is about to turn a page. Pause again. Breathe. Imagine yourself standing outside on a clear night, staring up. There it is, a streak of light, vast, magnificent, terrifying. You know it comes from beyond the solar system, from a place so far away it may as well be eternity. And yet here it is, visible to your naked eye, a visitor from forever. How could you not feel small? How could you not feel that this is a sign? Science will tell us its mass, its orbit, its chemical composition, but science cannot tell us its meaning. Meaning is something humanity assigns, something we interpret, and throughout history, when faced with comets, we have always assigned the same meaning: change. Sometimes destruction, sometimes rebirth, but always change. Never continuity, never stasis, always the end of something and the beginning of something else. And so as Comet 3I Atlas approaches, and as Michio Kaku warns us of cosmic vulnerability, the prophecy unfolds. A prophecy not written in books, but written in the stars themselves. A prophecy that whispers, the sky will give its sign, and the earth will follow. The more we study Comet 3I Atlas, the more questions seem to rise instead of answers. Why now? Why this trajectory? Why this brightness? Even astronomers who pride themselves on sticking to cold data have quietly admitted that its behavior is unusual. Its coma, the glowing cloud surrounding it, should have faded by now, and yet it continues to pulse with energy. Some describe it almost like a heartbeat, flaring and dimming as though the comet itself were alive. Strange jets of gas erupt unpredictably, changing its shape as though it refuses to be categorized. When Oumuamua passed through in 2017, many speculated it might not have been natural at all. Its cigar-like shape, its sudden acceleration, it was unlike any asteroid or comet we had ever seen. Harvard's Avi Loeb even dared to suggest it could have been an alien probe, a discarded fragment of extraterrestrial technology. 2I Borisov, the second interstellar visitor, was more conventional, behaving much like the comets we already knew. But 3I Atlas is different. It blends the mystery of Oumuamua with the spectacle of Borisov, and so the whispers begin again. Is it natural, or is it something else? A messenger? A warning? Or, as some dare to imagine, a deliberate signal? Michio Kaku's urgent warning makes more sense in this context. He has long argued that humanity is entering a dangerous adolescence. We have the technology of gods, yet the wisdom of children. Nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, tools that could build or destroy civilizations. A comet like 3I Atlas serves as a reminder that we are not invincible, that all our towers, all our machines, all our networks exist at the mercy of the cosmos. Kaku warns that if we fail to prepare for such events, it will not matter how powerful we think we are. The universe can wipe away everything in a single breath. But let us step back into history again, because prophecy is often hidden not in the future, but in the past. Ancient Chinese astronomers called comets broom stars, believing they swept away dynasties. The Mayans carved them into their temples, symbols of death and rebirth. In Europe, they were feared as omens of plague and war. Each time a comet blazed, something shifted on Earth. Was it mere coincidence, or was there a synchrony we cannot yet understand? Perhaps humanity and the cosmos are intertwined in ways that defy linear cause and effect. Perhaps the sky reflects our destiny like a mirror, telling us what we are not yet ready to hear. Think about the timing of 3I Atlas once again. The world is already unstable. Economies are fragile, trust in governments is eroding, climate disasters are intensifying, and technology is evolving faster than ethics can keep up. Into this moment comes a blazing visitor from beyond the stars. Even if it brings no physical harm, its symbolism is almost unbearable. It forces us to confront mortality, fragility, impermanence. And whenever humanity is confronted with such feelings, history shows us the same result: upheaval. Revolutions, collapses, renaissances, all are born when people suddenly realize that the old ways cannot continue. Some believe this is no accident. The comet is not just a rock of ice, it is an agent of timing, a cosmic clock striking the hour. Scientists often laugh at the idea of cosmic destiny, But physics itself reminds us that time is not random. It has structure, rhythm, resonance. Galaxies spin in spirals, stars pulse in cycles, planets dance in orbital harmony. Why would history be exempt from these patterns? Perhaps the comet is not the cause, but the marker, the pendulum swinging to announce a change of era. Now let us turn to the warnings of visionaries. Nostradamus wrote of a great comet appearing in the sky, coinciding with famine and great war. The Hopi prophecies speak of a blue star Kachina, a heavenly object that signals the purification of Earth. In Revelation, wormwood falls from the sky and poisons the waters, a harbinger of tribulation. Even the Vedic scriptures describe fiery messengers that descend from the heavens, reshaping the destiny of humankind. Are these merely poetic metaphors, or are they echoes of real cosmic encounters passed down through myth? Consider this. Ancient humans were careful observers of the sky. They did not have satellites, telescopes, or computers, but they had patience. They looked up every night, generation after generation, noticing patterns. When they said that comets preceded upheaval, it was not from superstition alone. It was from observation. Empires did indeed crumble when comets arrived. Kings did indeed fall. Great wars did indeed erupt. The correlation was too consistent to ignore. So perhaps the myths are not superstition. They are memory. And if they are memory, then Comet 3I Atlas may be the latest chapter in a story far older than we imagine. Michio Kaku, when speaking of cosmic vulnerability, reminds us that the dinosaurs had no defense against the asteroid that ended their reign. We, however, have telescopes, rockets, and the beginnings of planetary defense. But even with all our advancements, a truly massive impactor would leave us helpless. He warns that we must develop not only detection systems, but the ability to deflect or destroy such objects. The urgency in his voice is not just scientific caution, it is almost prophetic, as if he senses that time is shorter than we think. But perhaps the danger is not physical at all. Perhaps it is psychological, spiritual, civilizational. Imagine billions of people staring up at a comet brighter than the moon. Imagine the panic it could unleash. Markets crashing, religions seizing the moment, extremists proclaiming the end of the world. The human mind is fragile, and collective fear can destroy societies faster than any physical object. Could 3I Atlas trigger such a wave? Could it become the catalyst that accelerates the unraveling already underway? And yet, there is another possibility, one far more hopeful, that the comet is not a harbinger of doom, but of awakening, that it is here to remind us of our shared destiny, to make us realize that we are not separate nations, but one species under one sky. When people look up and see the same light, the same cosmic wonder, perhaps the divisions begin to dissolve. Perhaps wars lose their meaning. Perhaps unity becomes inevitable. Could this be the beginning of the long-awaited shift to a planetary civilization? Could the sky sign that ends an era also mark the birth of another? There is a strange duality in every prophecy. Doom and rebirth, destruction and creation, ending and beginning. They are never separate. They are two sides of the same coin. The comet that ended the dinosaurs also made space for humanity to rise. The comet that swept away empires also sparked renaissances. Perhaps 3I Atlas carries this same duality. To some, it will be a sign of fear. To others, a sign of hope. And in that tension lies the destiny of the human race. Now think of this. An interstellar comet carries with it not only ice and dust, but potentially the organic molecules of another star system. Scientists have already discovered amino acids and complex compounds on comets. What if 3I Atlas carries the seeds of life from another world? If it were to deposit even trace amounts of alien chemistry into our atmosphere or oceans, the implications would be staggering. It could mean that life is not Earth's secret, but the universe's tendency. It could mean that we are part of a cosmic family of life scattered across the stars. What prophecy could be greater than that? That we are not alone. But such revelations come with danger. Humanity does not handle paradigm shifts gracefully. When Copernicus declared that the Earth was not the center of the universe, it shattered worldviews. When Darwin proposed that we evolved from common ancestors, it divided societies. If Three-Eye Atlas carries evidence of life beyond Earth, the shock could be far greater. Religions would be challenged, philosophies would tremble, the human ego would be broken. And yet, out of that breaking, a new era might emerge. An era where we finally understand our place in the cosmos, not as rulers, but as participants. The ancients said, "As above, so below." If the sky changes, the earth changes. If the heavens send a messenger, humanity must listen. Perhaps that is what we are called to do now. Not to fear, not to panic, but to listen. To listen to the voice of the cosmos, speaking through a ball of ice and dust. To listen to the urgent warning of Michio Kaku that we are vulnerable. To listen to the prophecies of old that speak of change. And to listen to the whisper within ourselves that says, something is ending, something is beginning. Do you feel it? That quiet tremor in the soul when you think of the comet streaking through the night sky? That sense of standing at a threshold? That is not just imagination. That is history breathing through you. That is prophecy unfolding in real time. Comet Three-Eye Atlas is not just an astronomical event. It is a mirror held up to humanity. It reflects our fears, our hopes, our destiny. And when it passes, we will not be the same. The question is, what will we become? The end of an era is never comfortable. It shakes foundations, topples idols, breaks chains. But without endings, there can be no beginnings. Perhaps the real prophecy is not that the comet will destroy us, but that it will transform us, that it will awaken in us the realization that we are fragile but also extraordinary, that we are small but capable of greatness, that we are temporary but capable of leaving eternal marks on the universe. As Michio Kaku reminds us, survival is not guaranteed. We must choose it. We must prepare for it. We must earn it. The comet in the sky is a reminder that the universe does not owe us a future. We must create it ourselves. And perhaps that is the truest prophecy of all. Not doom, not salvation, but responsibility. The responsibility to face the sky, to face ourselves, and to rise. The story of Comet Three-Eye Atlas is not just about astronomy. It is about destiny. Every civilization in history has reached a moment where it had to confront something larger than itself. For the Sumerians, it was the flooding of rivers. For the Romans, it was the collapse of empire. For us, it may be the arrival of a blazing messenger from beyond the stars. We call it a comet, but deep down, humanity feels it is more than that. It is a mirror, a question, a warning. And perhaps that is why Michio Kaku's words strike such a chord. His warning is not rooted in mysticism, but in physics. Yet it resonates like prophecy. He tells us that we are vulnerable, that a single cosmic event could erase all of human history. He tells us that we must prepare, unite, and evolve, or else we risk becoming nothing more than a forgotten experiment in the universe's endless laboratory. His warning does not need myth to make it terrifying. Science alone is enough. But when science and prophecy speak the same message, humanity cannot ignore it. Imagine then the days to come when Comet Three-Eye Atlas grows brighter, when news broadcasts can no longer ignore it, when people walk outside and see it hanging over their cities, over their temples, over their battlefields. What will they feel? Wonder, fear, awe, or perhaps all three at once. And in that moment, humanity will be united, not by choice, but by necessity. For whether you are rich or poor, powerful or powerless, you will still look up and see the same sky. And that sky will be telling you, the era you knew is ending. Some will deny it, insisting it is nothing more than ice and dust. Others will fall to their knees, convinced the end is near. Others still will celebrate, seeing it as the dawn of a new age. But all will feel its weight. All will sense that something irreversible has been set into motion. And that collective realization may be more transformative than any physical impact. Do not underestimate the power of symbols. A comet in the sky is not just light. It is meaning. It reaches into the collective unconscious, pulling out fears buried for millennia. It awakens myths we thought we had outgrown. It whispers to the human soul that time is short, that change is inevitable, that destiny is calling. In that sense, Three-Eye Atlas is already changing us, even before it makes its closest approach. It is shaping thoughts, dreams, fears, and hopes. It is altering the course of history not by striking the earth, but by striking the human imagination. But here lies the paradox. Comets bring endings, yes, but they also bring beginnings. Perhaps this is the end of an era defined by arrogance, division, and blindness to the cosmos. Perhaps it is the beginning of an era defined by humility, unity, and cosmic awareness. Perhaps when people realize they are all standing under the same comet, they will begin to realize they are all standing on the same earth. Perhaps the prophecy is not of doom, but of awakening. Still, we cannot ignore the darker possibility. A comet does not need to collide with Earth to cause disaster. Even a distant pass can disturb gravitational fields, shift asteroids, or send fragments hurtling inward. And in an already unstable world, even small disruptions could spiral into chaos. Michio Kaku warns of this very possibility, that the true danger may not be immediate destruction, but a cascade of consequences we cannot control. A single cosmic nudge could be enough to collapse the fragile balance of our civilization. And yet, there is one more layer to this mystery. 3 Atlas is not from our solar system, it comes from the stars. It has traveled for millions, perhaps billions, of years to reach us. Its timing cannot be accidental. To arrive now, in this exact century, in this exact decade, when humanity is standing on the edge of so many crossroads, technological, environmental, spiritual, what are the odds? It feels as though the universe itself has chosen this moment to send its messenger. As though the cosmos is speaking directly to us, asking, will you survive? Will you evolve? Or will you perish? There is a haunting beauty in this, because whether the comet brings life or death, whether it destroys or awakens, it forces us to face our place in the universe. And in facing that truth, we are changed. Perhaps that is the true purpose of prophecy, not to predict but to prepare, not to reveal the future but to awaken us to the present, to remind us that the future is not fixed, that our choices matter, that destiny is shaped not only by the stars but by ourselves. So what do we do now? We look up. We acknowledge the sign. We prepare, yes, but more than that, we reflect. We ask ourselves the questions we have long avoided. What is the purpose of humanity? Why are we here? What legacy will we leave behind if tomorrow does not come? These questions are not abstract. They are urgent, immediate, unavoidable. Because the comet in the sky is reminding us that time is not infinite, that civilizations rise and fall, that eras end, and that we may be next, unless we choose otherwise. Perhaps that is why prophecy exists at all, not to frighten us into paralysis, but to jolt us into action, not to doom us, but to challenge us. The prophets of old saw comets as omens of judgment, but judgment is not always punishment. Judgment is a weighing, a reckoning. It is the universe asking, are you worthy to continue? That is the question Comet 3I Atlas is asking us now. Are we worthy to continue? Michio Kaku's warning should not be taken lightly. He urges us to invest in planetary defense, to protect ourselves from cosmic threats. But beneath the science lies something deeper. His warning is not just about comets or asteroids, it is about maturity. Are we ready to take responsibility for our place in the cosmos? Are we ready to grow beyond the petty divisions of nation and tribe? Are we ready to think like a planetary civilization, united under one destiny? If not, then the comet may indeed mark the end of our story. And yet there is hope. There is always hope. Humanity has faced impossible odds before and survived. We have risen from plagues, from wars, from collapses. We have rebuilt from ashes. We have found light in the darkest nights. The comet may be a warning, but it may also be an opportunity to awaken, to rise, to evolve, to finally become the species we were meant to be. The prophecy unfolding now is not written in stone. It is written in the sky, yes, but it is also written in our hearts. We hold the pen. We decide whether the comet will be remembered as the sign of our downfall or the spark of our transformation. We decide whether it will mark an ending or a beginning. We decide whether we will look back and say, that was the night we feared the sky, or that was the night we became one. So look up, see the comet, Feel its weight. Let it remind you of your fragility, but also of your strength. Let it awaken in you the urgency of now. Because this is not just astronomy. This is prophecy. This is destiny. This is the sky giving its sign and the earth holding its breath. And when future generations look back on this era, they will not just see the comet in the sky. They will see what humanity chose to do in its light. They will see whether we collapsed or transcended, whether we ended or began, whether we perished or became eternal. The sky sign has come. The era is ending. The prophecy unfolds. The question remains, how will you answer it?